Yes, the book ban board is back. I failed miserably at the previous overbooked board. I will leave the video down in the description if you want to see the previous version, but we're here today to talk about a new version of overbooked that hopefully will work a lot better for me. I cheated so hard on the DoorDash thing. Like, it's bad. It is really, really bad, to the point of like no return. I cheated. I just really like my DoorDash, okay? So that version's not gonna work for me. So the other day, I literally spent like a whole day brainstorming with Cassidy, Nikki, and Maria about how we were going to revamp this to work a little bit better for me. And I think the version that came out is really, really good. So I'm gonna walk you through like the differences, what I have changed. The categories at the top have all stayed the same, so I will quickly go back over those so that you can see exactly like what the categories are. Then at the end, once I've showed you exactly what everything looks like, I'm going to actually show you what my progress looks like so far so that we can kind of do a little bit of this together. So just a quick reminder what the purpose of this is, as well as what the exceptions to the rules are. This is to try to keep you from buying books unnecessarily, because I was finding, especially in one shelf, that I was not like excited about the books on my shelves, and it's because I bought them so long ago without giving it a lot of thought on what I was truly wanting to put in my home library. So now this is just giving me a little bit of a reason to like pause and think things through, as well as read down my library at the same time, because that's what these categories are designed to do. The caveat to buying books is that if I have given the book a 4 or a 5 star, it's free reign. If I've already read it and know that I loved it, I can buy it and put it on my shelves. Book boxes also do not count, because those are kind of out of my control. Like, I only have a certain number of skips for most of them, and it's not always feasible for me to have read the book beforehand, and I may not have the skip even to use. So book boxes, subscription boxes, not special editions, like separate special editions, but just the subscription boxes like My Fairy Late Romantasy are allowed to come in without repercussion. And then I think since the last time we talked, we also put a caveat on there that an Audible credit does not count, because those expire and you can't exactly like put your account on hold for a super extended period of time. So I can use Audible credits, but I cannot whisper sync, and I was doing a decent amount of whisper syncing, so I cannot do that. That is against the rules. I think that is everything. If I think of anything else, I will let you know. So now let's go through the categories and I'll show you what I've changed. Okay, so the B is still going to be borrowed. This is books that I've gotten from like the library. I'm also going to count Kindle Unlimited and Everand, or even Spotify, because I don't get to keep those books. They are not mine. If I cancel the subscription, then the books go away. So in my mind, those are still borrowed. Less so KU books though, because there is a spot for Kindle books on my TBR anyway. So then we have over 500 for O. That is a book over 500 pages. Super simple. On my TBR for the next O, this is my physical TBR only, so books that I only have in audio, books that I only have on Kindle do not count for this. It has to be books that are on my physical TBR. Then we have Kindle books, so I'm considering this for KU, but also books that I have bought from like sale days or things like that. I don't have as many of those, so it'll probably be more KU books. Then we have book boxes, so something that I have gotten in a subscription box. I really need to do better about making sure that I am reading those, because I'm not very good at reading them. Then we have ARCs, so to count for an ARC, it has to be read before the publish date, or probably within a week or so of the publish date. I'm not going to be like hardcore the day before, kind of strict on that, but it does need to be in like a reasonable amount of time to be giving a review for an ARC, and not 5 months down the road. And then we also have Next and Nudge over here for N, and this is just a book that's either the next in a series that I need to read, or a book that I've needed a little bit of a push to pick up. So something that's been on my shelves for a while that I just have not made it a priority to read. So those are all the same. Now let's talk about how the tier system has changed. Now the tier system is no longer tiers. You're going to see that I have reward 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I have 4 different categories of rewards. And essentially what this means is I can go for any reward at any given time. If there is a book that I know is coming out that I really, really want, or a book club read that I know I'm going to need to get to, but maybe I'm not able to get it in any other format, I will have to be going for reward 4, which is to buy a new book. So that is not the tiered system. I don't have to read all of the books in these categories before getting to that, but I do have to read now all 7 categories. So I can't just do 5 out of the 7, I do have to do all 7 of these before I can earn that reward. That could end up changing just depending on how it works, but typically speaking, I looked and I read about 10 books a month, so that gives me a reward plus some change, hopefully every month, as long as I'm reading things within these categories. These are also like on Velcro, which is why they're not perfectly, oh, I tilted it. That's why they're not perfectly centered, so that I can change the rewards to fit my needs at any given point. If there's something that I see that I am struggling with or that I really, really want to work on, I can then change it to fit anything at any point. Other than that, let's just quickly go over the rewards, and then I think it'll probably be time to update the board and see how I'm doing so far. I will probably change it to where I'm not doing quarterly updates anymore. I'm going to be doing these mostly in vlogs, so make sure you're watching those to get updates on how I'm doing and see me get the rewards for this, because I think that just makes the most sense if I'm going for a new book to like see me work for that, if that makes sense. So tell me what you guys think about that. I may do dedicated vlogs for this. I'm not really sure yet, but I think it would be fun to see me like work through my progress in it. So our first reward is now a snack treat instead of a sweet treat. So this is a, like, I'm thinking I have a tendency to DoorDash snacks, or if I want like popcorn before Stranger Things, or if we want to go out for crumble cookie, that is all going to count in snack treat. Now, if I get something in a grocery order, that's not going to count. If I like have home popcorn here, that doesn't count. But if I'm going to like get something, or I want something that is outside my normal like pantry items, then I will have to earn a reward for this. So if I look forward and I see that the crumble flavor is something that I really, really want, I can't go get it until I have earned the reward. The next one is Cassidy's evil thought, and that is to not be able to try the new Mudslingers flavors until I have filled up the reward. That means that before September 1st, I need to have filled this up. So this is probably the first thing we're going to be going for, because what do you mean I won't be able to try the new flavor on September 1st when they come out? Like, what do you mean? So I can now not get a new Mudslingers flavor until I have filled this up, and that is devious. Smart, but devious. Reward number 3 is actually going to be to buy yarn for a new project. So I find that when it starts to get cooler outside for Christmas projects, crochets along, things like that, I do like to buy new yarn for projects in the winter months when it gets cooler. So I thought that this would be a really good one. This could change. This is the one that's most likely to change, but I think that it's going to work really well for me in the winter months. And then obviously number 4 is to buy a book. The very last thing that I wanted to mention is what happens if I fail? What happens if I buy a book? What happens if I do decide to DoorDash a snack? What happens if I just say, screw it, I want the Mudslingers flavor? We are going to be doing a spinner wheel of punishments. So there's going to be 5 punishments, each of them that are on there twice. I have to be willing to risk any of these in order to say I want the reward without having earned it. So we're going to have something as simple as to clear the row. We also could go even more extreme and clear the board. A chore that I hate. So this is usually for me going to be like something that I don't have to do all the time, but something I don't want to do, like clean out the fridge or throw things out from the pantry. Savings. So this is going to be like if I spend $15 on a cookie or $15 on DoorDash, then I have to put that equal amount into my savings account so that I am basically losing the money twice, but also saving up for things in the future. And then the one that was the most devious is that I cannot play games for 3 days. You guys know that I love my video games with friends recently. We have been having the best time, and if I decide to break it, I have to be willing to risk the fact that I won't be able to play for 3 days, which is probably the scariest punishment on the board for me, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely don't want to lose my progress, but also, what do you mean I won't get to play games? So that is definitely like a terrifying option, but it's on the board. I have to be willing to risk it. And I think this is going to add a little bit more of like a, do I really need that reward early kind of thing, because there's no telling what my punishment is going to be. Okay, so that is the logistics of how the new board, the new Overbooked, is going to work. Now let me go find my sticker so that we can walk through exactly what my reward is going to look like so far. Okay, so here is a close-up of the current board. I have actually read 3 books for this so far. The first one that I finished at the time of like deciding what I was going to be reading was actually Fairy Tale, which is a huge win for me. And so I'm really trying to decide, do I want to put this on the over 500 because it was like 1,000 pages, or Or do I put it on Kindle? I read most of it from KU. Or do I want to put it on like Nudge next? Because the board is so open, I really don't think it matters where I put it. So currently my thought process is, why don't we put a sticker on over 500? And I think I need the Mudslingers option in September. So that's going to be the reward I'm pretty sure I'm going for first. I also wanted to mention that if I get Mudslingers flavor, then it just wipes that row and I can then go back and start working on it again. So I don't have to like clear the whole board before I had the opportunity to get this reward again. Then I also just finished Thorns and Fire by Helen Shure. This one was a borrow because I read it on Everend. I actually don't own this book. So that is definitely going to be going on the borrowed section. Don't you just love my cute little cat stickers? And last but not least, I have finished Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. So this one was one that is not on my physical TBR. I did not read it on Kindle. I actually borrowed it from the library. It's not a book box, it's not an ARC, but it is not something that I was necessarily planning to read. And Cassidy actually encouraged me to go ahead and pick it up. This is a series that I enjoyed, but I wasn't sure if I was going to continue because the last book was taking forever to come out, and it's actually coming out pretty soon. So I think for this one I can put it on Nudge or Next. We also could swap, honestly, Thorns and Fire because I wasn't sure when or if I was going to read that, and it is like the next book in a series. So I actually think we're going to put this one for Thorns and Fire and then count Truth Witch for borrowed. Just swap those. I needed to think that part through, but I mean, essentially the reward system stays the same, so it's fine. Either way is completely fine. So this is what the board looks like on my current update. I have 4 books left to read before September 1st. Do you think I can do it? Because I'm not sure. So now you've seen the board and what the new Overbooked looks like. Let me know what you guys think of these changes. I think it's going to work a lot better for me being able to like pick something that I am really wanting to work toward at the moment. And I love that I can already put stickers on it and see what my progress is looking like. I think it's going to be really, really satisfying for me in the long run. So let me know if you are changing up yours at all, if you're going to stick with the old tier system, if you've decided to do it. I think that it's just going to be really fun to see all of this come together in vlogs and things. So I am very, very excited. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hopefully you don't mind me making a few changes to this, but overall I think it's going to work a lot better for me in the long run. If you want to see the previous version, I will leave it up here in case you guys want to check it out, but just remember that moving forward, this is going to be the version that I will be using as far as my personal system. If you just want to let me know that you were here and hanging out, you're going to leave me a cat emoji because of course the cat stickers are the star of the show. As always, thank you guys so very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.